Okay, hello everyone. I'm Raehan Abdillah. I'm from TT45 International, and here I'm going to present my final project, which is the effect of internet on the mental health that leads to suicide inside Asia Pacific countries. And first thing first, this is my research question, which is I want to know about what is the relationship between daily internet usage and mental illness to the suicidal rate in those countries. So these are our data identification. We have seven variables here, mainly country name, population, internet users, average time spent on the internet per day, mental illness cases, and male and female suicide cases. Next, we have our data identification here, mainly the category of each data. So in country name, data is quantitative, discrete, and nominal. In population, the data is quantitative, discrete, and ratio. In internet users, the data is quantitative, discrete, and ratio also. In average time spent on the internet per day, data is quantitative, continuous, and ratio. In mental illness cases, the data is quantitative, discrete, and ratio. And in both male and female suicide cases, the data are quantitative, discrete, and ratio. So this is our data collection. As you can see here, we're using seven variables: the country name, population, internet user, and so on. And also for the countries, I choose 10 countries in the Asia Pacific region, mainly China, India, Indonesia, Japan, Malaysia, Philippines, South Korea, Singapore, Sri Lanka, and Thailand. So in this paper, we mainly used two methods for gathering the data, which are census and surveys. So in this paper, all of the variables data are considered secondary data because I personally didn't collect data by myself, but I got it from the trustable source, mainly the internet and the other parties. And also in this paper, all of the variables are considered structured data. This is because of data are presented as single variables and data showed as a table, as you can see on your left. Okay, next is the evaluation data. So in here we have four uh, checking category. The first one is complete, and the second one is coherent, the third one is correct, and the fourth one is countable. And you can read it by yourself. This is uh, accomplishes all of those checking category. Next is the data visualization. So in here, you can see on your left, uh, that is the graph of the population, internet user, and mental illness cases in million. So as you can see here, China, India has the most population in the world now. And for the average, the population from those 10 countries are 430,853,173 people. And for the internet user, the average is about 277 million users. And for the mental illness cases, it's around 35 and 36 million people. So next. So on your left is the graph of male and female suicide cases in every 100,000 people. As you can see, the South Korea has the highest amount of male suicide cases in 100,000 of people. And also the females are led by the South Korea. And the least is the Philippines and Indonesia. So the mean or the average of the suicide cases on male, it's around 15 per 100,000 people. And for female, it's around 6 per 100,000 people. And for the STD or the standard deviation, it's around 10 for the male and 4.99 for the female, or 5. So the next data visualization is about the average time spent on the internet per day, and it counts by hours. So as you can see here, Philippines lead with almost 11 hours per day using the internet, and Japan has the lowest, which is around 4 hours per day. And the average time spent on the internet per day on those 10 countries is around 7.3 hours per day, and the standard deviation is around 1 until 2 hours, the difference between every countries. Next is the data analysis. So in this project, researcher is using the correlation test to figure out the research question. And in the correlation test, we're going to find the R value, which can be gotten by using the correlation test formula, which is this one. So in the correlation test, we're going to have hypothesis. So in here, we have two hypotheses. The first hypothesis is about there's a strong correlation between the average time spent on the internet and the mental illness cases. And the second hypothesis is about there's a strong correlation between the mental illness cases and suicide rate. So, first thing first, we're going to find the first R for the first hypothesis. So in this hypothesis, we got the R equal to minus 0.2, which is really low. And in here, we compare the mental illness cases as the y-axis and the average time on the internet uh, as the x-axis. So next, for the second hypothesis or the second R value, in here we're using the mental illness cases as the x-axis and the suicide rate as the y-axis. And we got quite high R, which is 0.64. And next one is the summary, which is we can sum it up as relationship of the average time spent on the internet and mental illness cases is really low, which means the correlation is really weak, or maybe there's no correlation after all. It can be happen probably because differences from the highest data and lowest data is really huge, especially in the China, India, with the other countries like Singapore, for example. And in the other hand, the relationship of the mental illness cases and suicide rate is quite high, which means they have good correlation with each other. So as you can see on the graph, uh, yeah, the mental illness cases has a good correlation with the suicide rate. And for answering our research question, so the answer for the research question is there's a really long relationship between the time spent on the internet with the mental illness, but the mental illness really affect the suicide rate on those 10 specific countries. So the last one is suggestion. So in the next project, maybe the researchers can choose countries with a slight differences in the population, so the result can be cleaner. So I think that's it from me. Thank you very much for your attention, and goodbye.